Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again. Today we've got the Apple iPod Nano 6th generation to review for you. The big thanks to Apple for sending this along. They've sent it along with a new iPod Touch and a new iPod Shuffle, which I've reviewed the iPod Touch so far. So let's jump into the iPod Nano review. I have one right here, of course. They have sent me the 16GB product red version of the iPod Nano. It's the 6th generation. And if you've never seen the new generation iPod Nano, the actual Nano and the box itself has become much smaller. As you can see, I could fit it in my whole hand. It's very small, compact. It's really nice. It comes with the standard things such as, let's just open it up. Obviously your product ready information over here. Start guide, which is here. Headphones. And a syncing cable, a USB syncing cable for the device. It has very good sound quality. It's very small, as you can see. Most people don't actually realize how small it is. If you haven't seen this in person, it's very small. Like I said again, I can fit it in my hand just like that. Very, very small. As comparison, you can. This is the size of 4 keys on your keyboard, just for comparison's sake. That's what I've been told. Let me just test that theory out. Yeah, it's around just a bit bigger than 4 keys on your keyboard, so it's quite small, very small. And of course, the difference of the new iPod Nano to the last generation is they've actually made the screen smaller and chopped off the click wheel, which is kind of nice. This looks like an iPod Shuffle, if you ask me. They've added a little, I think it's a 2-inch screen here, I'm not sure, but it's a very small screen, and you can pretty much just turn it on. You have at the top, obviously, if I zoom in a bit more again, you have at the top your sleep-wake button and your 2 volume controls, and that's pretty much it for the whole device. At the bottom you have your 30-pin dock connector, and on the back you have a clip. It's so small that they have actually put a clip on that as well. Very small. So let's actually turn it on by hitting the sleep-wake button. And as you can see, it turns on just like that. Not really much. There's like icons just like the iPod Touch. They're a bit smaller. You can pretty much just scroll through everything here. It's better if you have small fingers, probably if you're a kid, I guess. You can pretty much hit the music button and you can, let's just say I want to go all albums. You can scroll through your albums just like that, and you can scroll through your songs just like that, just like you would on any iPhone or iPod Touch. And this is what album art actually looks like. So that's pretty cool. Let's just pick a different album. I'll show you what the album art looks like. Okay. So, it takes a while to get used to for the first time, but album art looks quite cool on here, to be honest with you. For a small device anyway. And a lot of people have been wondering, especially me before I actually use this, how do you get back to the home menu? Because, well, let's face it, there's no home button. So there's actually a very easy way to do that. All you do is just hold your finger down on the screen like so, and it takes you back to the home screen. So I'll demonstrate that again. Let's just say you're on this screen, hold your finger down on it, and it's very hard to see, but you hold your finger down on it just like that, and it takes you back to the home screen. Quite easy to use. So once again, settings, you're in your settings, hold down the home, and it takes you back. So let's see what you've actually got on here with the icons. You've got playlists, now playing, artists, genius mixes. You've actually got a radio, FM tuner in here, which you can actually use. But you will need your headphones. It's actually telling me right now, please plug in headphones for radio reception. So the antenna will actually be from the headphones. So your headphones are acting as an antenna, but it's only FM radio, and you can actually live pause, I believe, and rewind and stuff like that with this radio. So you got your radio, you got podcast button, you got a photos button. Let's just see what photos look like. This is what photos look like. Once again, you can just scroll straight through it just like that. There is no multi-touch on this. It's not an iPod Touch, it's not an iPhone, so you can't actually pinch and zoom. But you can just scroll, which is nice. So it's pretty much one finger gestures for now, which is awesome. But it's alright for a device like this. Another thing is, say you've actually clipped your device onto your jacket or wherever it is, your pants, but it's actually facing a different way. So you can actually rotate the screen just by getting two fingers like that and rotating it. So once again, let's just get two fingers and you rotate just like so. Very easy to use. You can also pretty much wiggle the home button icons if you want to change them around. You just hold onto it just like you would on an iPod Touch and they begin to wiggle. You can move them around if you please, and then just to get it back to normal you hold them down again. So yeah, you've got your photos, songs, albums, composers, genres. You've also got fitness icon here, which I believe syncs up with your Nike, an Apple thing that they have, the pedometer, Nike pedometer. You've also got your clock. Many of you may have actually seen this clock. There's actually accessories now that you can buy, which pretty much it's a wristband, and you just attach the iPod Nano like so, and it acts as a clock. So you pretty much got your own watch there. Doubles up as a watch, which is always good to know. Battery life on this is pretty good. Sound quality is great. The only con I can think of from the last generation is, besides it's smaller. But that's alright. Doesn't matter about that. But most people are being quite annoyed by the fact that Apple has actually taken away video. You can't actually watch video on this anymore, which is pretty fair enough. I mean, who's going to sit there watching video on a small, tiny screen like this? It's pretty small. But the idea that they've taken it away altogether is just annoying. And I mean, I'm guessing they took it away because to conserve battery life. But yeah. So you've got your headphone jack, your headphone input at the bottom here, next to the 30-pin dock connector. But that's pretty much it. It's very small, very sleek, and it actually feels nice to hold in your hand. I like the brushed metal. They do come in different colours, but this is obviously the red one, silver one. They have like all different colours. So check them out. Great buy, and I highly recommend this awesome iPod Nano. Not as good as the last generation. If you're still looking for something with a camera, because they've also taken off the camera, don't forget, the video camera. So if you're still looking for a camera or even just video playback, and you want less portability, not that the last one wasn't portable, because it definitely was, but if this is much more portable, but if you want video playback and video capturing, then the last generation will suit you just fine. It's still a very good player, but the new one is also a very good MP3 device. One last feature that I also didn't care for in this new iPod Nano is it's not, well, since it has a multi-touch screen, a touch screen, there is no there is a lock button, but there is no sort of, like you've seen on the iPod Touches or iPhones, like slide to unlock. Obviously if you have this in your pocket and maybe you know, you bump a button or something, it will come on, and there's no like sort of prevention or security measure like the iPod Touch and iPod Nano where they have slide to unlock. So that might actually waste battery life if you bump it by accident. So it's probably best to clip it onto your clothing and keep it on the outside so you don't bump it in your pocket.